Welcome back. It's Finance Friday, another special edition of Money Girl where I answer your burning money questions. Today's topic comes from Srinivas, who says, Laura, I have been a long-time listener and love your podcast. I need a little help for my sister-in-law who recently got divorced. But before their divorce order was finalized, her ex-spouse suddenly passed away. She is the beneficiary of half of his 401k, and their 2 adult children are the beneficiaries of the other half. Will the 3 of them inherit it, or does the account have to go into his estate? Srinivas, thank you for the question and your kind words, and I'm so sorry your sister-in-law and her family are going through this difficult time. While thinking about your death isn't pleasant, making the right plans is critical. This podcast will review what happens to your 401k or other workplace retirement plan when you die. Understanding the rules is essential so that people you love get the money you've worked so hard to save. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining me on episode 883. I'm Laura Adams, an award-winning author, finance spokesperson, money speaker, founder of The Money Stack, a Substack newsletter, and host of Money Girl with over 43 million downloads. If you're getting value from the free content we love creating, please subscribe, and we'd also love you to submit a 5-star rating or review. And if you have a question you want me to cover on a Finance Friday, send it. You can leave it on our voicemail by calling 302-364-0308. You can also send me an email and sign up for the free Money Stack newsletter when you visit lauradadams.com. All right, let's talk about what exactly a 401k beneficiary is. When you enroll in a retirement account, you will always be prompted to name one or more beneficiaries on a designation form. If you're married, the primary beneficiary is assumed to be your surviving spouse. In fact, if you name anyone other than your spouse as beneficiary, they have to waive their right to inherit your retirement plan in writing. If you're unmarried or your spouse waives their right to your retirement funds, you can leave it to anyone you like siblings, children, or even a charity. You can imagine a situation where a widow remarries and wants to ensure her children inherit her 401k instead of her second husband. In that situation, a spouse would need to waive their inheritance or give written consent to acknowledge that they're not the beneficiary. You can have multiple beneficiaries and allocate a percentage of your account to them that adds up to 100%. It's wise to name one or more primary and contingent beneficiaries. For example, you might name your spouse a primary beneficiary and your sister a contingent in case your spouse is also deceased when you die. If you name retirement account beneficiaries, your account goes to them outside of probate. Probate is a potentially lengthy legal process that reviews your assets and then transfers them to the new owners. So Srinivas, your sister-in-law, and her children will inherit her deceased ex-spouse's retirement plan outside of any probate proceedings. Now, if you take anything away from this podcast, I want you to be aware that the beneficiaries named in your retirement plan inherit it, even if you have a will that says something else. In other words, retirement beneficiaries supersede your will. For instance, if you leave an ex-spouse as a beneficiary on your retirement plan, they will receive it, even if your will says explicitly to disinherit the ex-spouse. If you don't name a 401k beneficiary and you're married, your spouse automatically inherits the account. But if you have no spouse or retirement plan beneficiary, your 401k becomes part of your estate and will go through probate with the rest of your belongings. There's another way to name beneficiaries on your retirement plan called per stirpes. That's Latin for by roots. Let's say you want your retirement money to go to the children of a beneficiary who dies before you do. In that case, you can use a per stirpes designation, meaning their inheritance goes to their child or their children. For example, let's say you're unmarried and your 401k beneficiaries are your brother and your sister, 50-50. Your sister has a daughter, and you'd like the daughter to receive her mother's portion of your account if her mother dies. But if your sister dies before you, your brother would receive 100% of the account and your niece would receive 0. However, if you indicate on your retirement plan beneficiary form that your sister's portion is per stirpes, her daughter would receive the 50% portion and your brother would receive 50%. So making a per stirpes designation is kind of a backstop to make sure that if a beneficiary dies, the portion that would have gone to them will pass through to their children. Now, if you're a surviving spouse who inherits a workplace retirement plan, you have several options for managing that money. You can roll over the funds into your existing 401k if you have one and if it accepts rollovers. You can roll over the funds into a new or existing IRA. Or you can take a lump sum distribution, but that means paying taxes on any previously untaxed portion in the account. Now, if you're a surviving non-spouse beneficiary, like a sibling, parent, or friend, you cannot roll over inherited 401k funds into your retirement account. With limited exceptions, you must empty it within 10 years of the owner's death. Only minor children of the deceased or those who are chronically ill or disabled who are 10 years younger than the account owner at death are allowed to spread out required minimum distributions over their life expectancy. For everyone else who is a non-spouse beneficiary of a 401k, you've got 3 options. You can take a taxable lump sum distribution, you can transfer it to a newly created IRA, or you can leave the funds in the same account to withdraw over the next decade. Srinivas, the best starting point for your sister-in-law and her children will be to transfer their inherited portions to a new IRA. If it's a traditional 401k, they'll open a traditional IRA and need to empty that and pay taxes on withdrawals over a maximum 10-year period. However, if they inherit a Roth 401k, they'll need to open a Roth IRA, and they won't have any RMDs or taxes to pay. That's the beauty of Roth funds. There is no tax to pay on that account. So as you can tell, inheriting retirement accounts can be a little complicated. I would recommend to prevent any errors that you get guidance from a qualified tax professional. Also, remember that after any significant life event, like having a child, adopting a child, getting married, getting divorced, or losing a spouse, you should update your retirement plan beneficiaries. Depending on your plan, you may be able to complete a beneficiary designation online. As I mentioned, even if you update your will, that doesn't change who inherits your retirement accounts. Srinivas, thank you so much for sending in the question. I hope this has been helpful to you and your sister-in-law. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast. I want to thank our terrific team. Steve Rickyberg audio engineers the show. Brandon Gachis is our director of podcasts. Holly Hutchins is our digital operations specialist. Morgan Christensen is our advertising operations specialist. Davina Tomlin is our marketing and publicity associate. And Nathaniel Hoops is our marketing contractor.